Um, all right.
Good
Moving
old
on.
economy is up. Economy. What do we got in the economy? The economy's going great. It's best stock market. We're coming out of inflation better than ever.
Yeah, we got groceries. That's
Well,
what we're gonna
okay,
oh yeah. Oh
sorry.
yeah, sorry.
Asterisk, unless you need to buy groceries. And
Oh
I'll
sorry. I didn't know that was a whole long setup. Gotta be faster. Faster that or
it
funny. No.
wasn't. I just winged it. But
Um
yeah, groceries. Come on.
Americans are paying an average $605 more each month for groceries compared with the same time 2 years ago, and $1,019 more compared with 3 years ago. Which is why I think it was last Thursday, we heard from the CEO of Kellogg's. Listen,
God.
guys, he is telling you to eat cereal for dinner if you're a cash strapped family.
Yeah,
If
and
you're
if there's a video that goes with this, but it's just like it's every bit of corporate speak you can imagine about, we
healthy for
think,
you, everybody's got a bowl and a little bit of milk,
yeah,
some fruit.
breakfast is gonna play really well with the income impaired,
Yeah,
shit like
yeah,
that.
they
But
went to McKinsey school on how to market that, which was funny because obviously just a few months ago this guy was telling us we should, or a year ago I guess, to save money you should skip breakfast, save it for dinner, save it for dinner.
save it for
They're not
dinner.
even talking eggs, by the way, not eggs, it's cereal.
The worst. I mean, cereal. If you're getting straight granola, great. But other than that, like cereal is one of the worst things you could eat.
Like
Uh,
sugary,
It's just
carby,
crap.
like has, yeah,
Crap.
um disaster. So that's one thing. Then, not to be outdone, Wendy's announced a few days later that they were going to start experimenting with surge pricing in 2025, just the way Uber and Lyft do. Wendy's will test dynamic pricing, there's another McKinsey speak for you, on burgers, frosties, and other menu items, which will cost more during times of increased demand. How'd that go?
Dynamic burger prices. So dynamic
Dynamic.
pricing became a thing. I think I want to put it on the NBA, but I don't know if they were first. But in the NBA, they're like, look, there's more popular games, so we're going to charge more money, and it worked and became the norm. And that's what they were hoping with this. And all of Wall Street was like, oh my god, I hope this fucking works. And
Right.
all the pundits on CNBC and all these
Yeah.
economic shows are like, this is a good trial balloon right here. Let's see how that works out. But to our credit as a
Yep.
leftist, all the uproar is shut this shit down.
It's amazing that happened because it almost never happens. So kudos to people who spoke out loudly. Because yeah, what would happen is, well, as soon as they see that people will spend $8 for a bucket of popcorn, which costs like 20 cents,
Right.
or $5 for a coffee that costs even less than that.
But knowing capitalism and our world, how everything is upside down, what's going to happen is they're just going to shut up about it and do it. Like or rebrand it as
Yeah,
something else.
that's exactly what
The
it's
big
going to do.
mistake was that they advertised it, that they were going to do it and let people know.
Yeah.
Because if they
Yeah.
just
No,
implemented
you're
it,
right.
it's just like, I mean, right now a burger costs you $10, which is crazy for a shitty little hamburger at McDonald's or something.
Yeah.
When you can go to an actual restaurant, a local restaurant, for the same price and get a real legitimate burger, usually.
Right.
So
Yeah.
and that's because of disaster capitalism. They took advantage of people not wanting to go into restaurants, and they're like, well, we can charge full blown legitimate burger prices for our shitty little fucking burger where we're paying people nothing an hour to make it.
Yep. Yeah. All of that went up during COVID has not come back down at all. Now, when we go to pick up food up from different restaurants, if we order in, nobody delivers anymore. They're huge delivery prices. So if you go pick it up, there is sometimes as much as a $15 packaging charge for your to-go food.
Yeah.
And then they'll still add on. And, like obviously I want to tip people because I was a waitress forever. I know people depend on their tips. But like that should be done by the management. Many restaurants now are saying, oh, to help with our employees' health insurance, we're adding an extra, and I don't ever know if that money actually is going to those servers. There's like service fees, and then it will say that service fee doesn't go to
Right.
our servers. It's like, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, don't forget that Biden not only is going to fight to keep enough chips in your bag, they're working on what was the term? Inflation, something inflation related.
Greedflation.
Anyway, the ticket surcharges and whatnot.
Oh, right. Yeah.
What is their big the thing we can do something about? And even that is like, we're gonna write a little letter to the corporations.
We're going to strongly advise them
and see if they can stop with these surcharges. But that didn't affect the local restaurants or whatever. It's just a bullshit thing for airline.
Yeah.
It's going to amount to nothing, which is what everything the Democrats do.
That's the plan. That's what they're sticking to.
So we got Citi CEO. Look at this.
Raised her pay to $26 million because of her amazing streamlined strategy, which is cutting 20,000 jobs, as it reports its worst quarter in 14 years.
I could be an amazing CEO and save money.
Just fire everybody.
Just fire everybody. You get a big ass raise.
You call it streamline.
If you use the right language.
It feels so much nicer when you tell me I'm being streamlined.
Yeah. I mean, we could circle back to this and talk about it later.
Right.
We could workshop this. If we can just workshop it, we'll find a way to save
McKinsey is the blight of humanity. This I did think was interesting because we know with all these issues happening with Boeing, it's because they've outsourced so many different parts and tried to cut corners, which is why that door plug that's necessary on certain planes isn't necessary on all of them. But if you make the planes differerently and you don't account for that for some of them, then you have to have 2 different manufacturing lines and all that kind of stuff. So why not just slap it into all of them and have nobody? Anyway, this was former Boeing senior manager Ed Pearson refuses to fly on the company's MAX planes. Last year, he scheduled himself on a non-MAX plane for a flight. When he got onto the plane, he realized he was on a MAX, so he got up and got off at the last second. So we should all follow suit. Just like that COVID air, if the plane's not good enough for him, it's not good enough for any of us.
And, I don't encourage anyone to invest in bad stocks and bad companies doing bad business. But if all of us had money and wanted to have more money, we could just follow the Nancy Pelosi stock trader, because they're tracking her stock moves and she just makes every brilliant move. Nvidia, they have a congressional meeting on cybersecurity, realize that they're going to give this contract to Nvidia. Next thing you know, she buys all this Nvidia stock. And if we had loose income sitting around, you want to make some money, just follow her stock bets.
I mean, I wish she would advertise them ahead of time. Yeah. The fact that she is allowed to continue to get away with this, I mean, they all are, but it is shocking. It is truly, they're just doing all of this out in the open. They don't even care. Their only reason to get into government is to make more money. Tax evasion by millionaires and billionaires tops $150 billion a year, says IRS chief.
Yeah, and we're at the next level phase. I mean, they always blame us. We need to recycle. They put it on an individual
Your
level.
carbon footprint.
Yeah, which we should do what you can, obviously, but
they did just say that plastic actually can't be recycled anyway. That was a big lie.
Plastic is usually not even being recycled. I mean, plastic bags, for example, in California, it was mandatory to use plastic bags, and it's crazy. And then it was mandatory to bring your own bags.
Right.
At some places.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. And then
they found that those were 40 times more. I'm making that number up, but I think it was even higher than that. It was an astronomically amount higher tax on the environment by using the bags.
The reusable bags?
For example. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Than the plastic ones.
No.
There's another loophole with plastic bags. The plastic bags aren't being recycled, but there's a loophole. I don't know, something about the thickness of the bag.
Just make it up, Pat, that you're on a roll.
Yeah, and that's why I'm voting for Joe Biden. I don't know.
But no, I also think that doesn't actually recycle. Like, not only when you put it in the recycling bin and they take it to the recycling plant, do they not actually often recycle? But I don't think that there are many plastics out there that cannot be recycled, which is why they're finding molecules. Now I'm going to make stuff up, but in every single part of all of our bodies. Like, we are just poisoned now.
Yep.
Got one word for you: plastics. All right, what else do we got?
Well, I mean, look,
here's another guy who did a heck of a job.
Yeah.
Norfolk Southern.
And the anniversary was like just last week, right? The anniversary of the Norfolk Southern East Palestine train
derailment, which is still like
37% raise.
37% raise. Did Biden end up going there? He was going to. Did he get like a scoop of ice cream and just walk around with all these people who are struck by cancer now, who pass blood when they go to the bathroom? I didn't see it either. They made a big thing about he was going to finally come visit. For what?
And don't forget, like, we called this out at the time, but Trump gave him like 2 weeks notice that he was going to go visit East Palestine. He's like, I'm going to go visit. A roll of
paper towel.
And Biden didn't choose that 2-week advance notice to do something about it and go there.
I'm not going to be on Trump's timetable.
Yeah. And okay, so where I was going with the recycling.
Sorry.
So ExxonMobil CEO says big oil has done its part. It's time for civilians generating emissions to pay.
Jesus Christ. These people are shameless. They're destroying our world, and they are shameless. I don't know why it's not here, but there was something, Climate Dad, whose real name I can't remember, but wrote an article about how, with the way climate change is going, I mean, we are going to experience severe food shortages, and we are, more and more people are going to become people who are climate migrants, And I think for a lot of people, they've always sort of looked at other parts of the world and said, oh, poor them. But, it's going to be poor all of us soon. If it wasn't enough to move you when it was happening to somebody else, don't worry, it's coming your way. One more nice moment is the UAW we talked about last week. They are establishing a solidarity project to support Mexican auto workers. And I will now not be able to read all of this because I've drunk too much and it's very small, faint writing. On Wednesday, this is a week ago, the UA International Executive Board voted to establish a new solidarity project to support auto workers in Mexico fighting for economic justice and improved working conditions. The project will provide resources to Mexican workers and independent unions in Mexico and aims to strengthen cross-border solidarity between U.S. and Mexican workers. For decades, corporations have taken advantage of inadequate trade laws to offshore thousands of U.S. manufacturing jobs to Mexico, where worker wages and conditions have long been suppressed. Corporations use the threat of offshoring jobs as a cudgel to beat back worker discontent and organizing efforts in the U.S. And that international solidarity, again, it's like, if you're only fighting for yourself, it's going to end up coming back to bite you. So even if it's only out of self-interest, we should all care that everybody is making living wages in every country, so that when they, Tesla now, what are they moving down to Texas because they have,
right?
Yeah. But that hurts everybody.
All the issues we are supposed to be fighting for selfishly even impact us, like climate change. If immigration is a concern of yours and you're even a right winger on it, well, a lot of the immigration is due to climate change. It's unlivable conditions in some of these other countries, pushing people, too much pressure on the local economy, so they come to the U.S. Right. Yep. So if you want less immigration from these dangerous people, which is all bullshit, you should care about climate change. If you want wages lifted up, you get health care here to people, and it's not such a burden on businesses, so more products can be made here.
Yep. Protect. I mean, we're only as healthy as our least healthy, and that's for everything. And thinking about Israel also just for a moment, and that idea that part of the establishment and the way to justify it was deciding that nobody has ever suffered as much as the Jews, and that the Holocaust is a singular event, and it is a singular horrific event. But there are other people, we don't talk about what's happening to people in Congo, right? Or what, even before that, I think 11 million people were killed in Africa at the turn of the century. So I think when you decide that you're not going to have solidarity with everyone who is suffering, you sort of balkanize all the movements, and then you're just left by yourself. And I mean, I guess I feel like if anything can be taken from all of this, is that nothing will change if we don't all band together. If you're only looking out for your small group, it is just an exercise in futility.
100%. And that connects back to COVID too, because the world ignoring COVID is because the US ignored COVID, and China did a little better, but they had to open up because the economic
because of the US, because of pressure.
Because, the idea that we need to keep producing more and more and more and more is bullshit anyway, but it's capitalism. And people have bought that to the degree that we're going to make ourselves unsafe because that's so important. Yeah. But if the economy equalized across the world, nobody feels that pain, really. There are other ways around this, but anyway, there's another good thing I wanted to point out. And More Perfect Union does a great job highlighting all the workers' rights issues and strikes, but Amazon lobbyists are banned from the European Parliament.
Amazing.
We could learn from that. I mean, imagine if we changed that system alone. Money out of politics, but that's a bullshit.
How would Nancy Pelosi grow her wealth?
But
on a measly $174,000. Yeah, that's great.
Parliamentarians. So, fuck yeah, good job.
More banning of lobbyists. Hear, hear.